So I'm going to take you through the easiest way to run a full Bitcoin node in Windows with a hardware wallet connected. We're going to be using two pieces of software, Specter Desktop as well as Bitcoin Core. So let's get started. Now the first thing that you'll need to do is download Bitcoin Core. So we'll go to bitcoincore.org, go to the download section and go to the Windows exe, and we'll wait for that to download. The other thing that we'll also need, or the other piece of software, is Specter Desktop, and you can find that on Google. So if you type in GitHub, Specter Desktop, and Crypto Advance, it is this one here. And you go down to the releases section and you download the exe Specter Desktop setup file as well. So from here, what you want to do is open up your downloads folder and open up Bitcoin. Here it'll say don't run. What you can do is actually go more info and run anyway. Click yes and go through the setup wizard. We'll go next, install, and it's completed, so you can go next and we can run Bitcoin Core, finish. So I think that has come up in the background here. So what we want to do is just use the default data directory. It'll go into that folder there, and yeah, it'll need about 320 gigabytes. So we're going to go OK on that. Okay, so this will start the initial blockchain download. What you might also receive is this Windows Firewall message. What you want to do is just allow access. So go through there. And so that will start now downloading and synchronizing. This is going to take a very long time depending upon your internet connection and the hardware that you're using. So let that synchronize. The next thing that we need to do is set this up in a, just to slightly configure it. We're going to go into the options here and we'll open the configuration file and we'll go OK. And you can open this up in Notepad. So we can open that up. And what we want to do here is type in server equals 1 and we will save that and close that out. We'll go OK. And the next thing that we'll do here is we will just restart this application. So we'll go into exit that and we'll just wait until Bitcoin Core shuts down. And we'll open it back up again. Start Bitcoin Core. So that's now started back up again and downloading through. In the meantime, we will install Specter Desktop. So let's open this executable up. Again, it'll have Windows protected your PC. We'll go run anyway. We'll install it for me only. And we'll go next, 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 or install. Okay, once that has finished installing, you can launch Specter. And we'll run a local Specter server, so we'll save that as our preferences. And you can see that it has found and automatically detected Bitcoin Core, so that's great. If you haven't been able to detect it, it means that you've probably haven't put server equals 1 in the config. So what you want to do is go back to the options, open the configuration file, and make sure that the text file has server equals 1. And you can press OK, and you can hide that. So now what you could have is the ability to import your cold card into Specter Desktop. So what we'll do is we'll go add new device. And here, what we can do is we can import our cold card through to our Specter Desktop. So we'll name it, we'll just go cold card and select the device, we'll go cold card, and we can choose a file. So here you'll see that you can export extended public keys for single key wallets to the SD card from Advanced Micro SD Card Export Wallet Electrum. And this will produce what's known as a new wallet.json file. And so we will then open this JSON file into our computer. So I'm going to grab my micro SD card that I've already exported from my cold card, and I'm going to put that into my computer. Okay, so because I'm in a virtual machine, I'm just going to share the USB. And so you can continue without scanning. Okay, so we can then choose the file, and this is my micro SD card, and these have got all of my wallets in there. So this is the one that I want to import through. So open that up, and we are going to then continue. And so now we have the device that's put through in there. Now we need to add a new wallet. So we'll add a wallet, and we'll go single key wallet, and we will use SegWit, and we'll name it. So whatever, Katan's wallet. We'll select the cold card, and we will continue. And we create wallet. Now, if you've already got funds in this wallet, what will end up happening is that you will see a zero balance. It'll probably require a rescan. And the way that you can rescan it is if you go into the settings here, you can go rescan blockchain from block, and you can rescan it. But you can only do that once this has actually synchronized. So what you're really doing here is just waiting for this now to synchronize. So I'll be back when this actually syncs through. Now, just exploring this thing a little bit further, I have found that you would want, your node does not have block filter index enabled. Setting block filter index equals 1 in your Bitcoin conf file is recommended, as it takes just a few gigs of storage and helps to speed up blockchain rescanning. So let's go ahead and do that. So what we'll do is we'll just copy this, and we will hide this, go into the options, and open the configuration file. We'll then add what we've just copied and save that. Okay. From here, we will exit, and we will then open up Bitcoin Core again. So, okay. So that's going to start re-downloading again, and what we'll do is we will look at our Specter Desktop, and maybe we just close it and open it up again. And you can see that that now has sort of removed, and we're still downloading the blocks. So that's going to take a little bit of time. We'll just wait for that to sync. And so then what we're going to do is, so this is your wallet. You have receive addresses, so you can generate new addresses through this, and you can then edit the labels, and you can send as well from here, and you can create a transaction, or you can import a transaction. I'll show you a little bit more about transactions a little bit later. And So these are then your transactions. I'll show you some of mine that have come through as well. So once I actually scan this thing. So what we'll do is we'll wait for this thing to synchronize. Once that has been downloaded and fully synchronized, we can then rescan from the SegWit block, and it will then hopefully find my UTXOs. So we'll do that as well. Okay, so that has now all synchronized up. You can see my Bitcoin Core has fully synchronized. And the other thing that you'll be able to notice is that the wallet, it's already detected my balance, but also in Bitcoin Core, you will see that wallet also being displayed in Bitcoin Core. So that's really, really good to see. What we can do from here is obviously receive funds. So this is where you would, ask someone to pay you or get the exchange to pay to this address. And the next thing that you'll probably want to end up doing is sending. So let's take a look into that. It'll show you your available funds, and you should be able to create a transaction here. And so we can give the recipient address, give it a label, give it an amount, but also we have some advanced features that I'll take you through. Say, for example, I wanted to pay or make a payment. So what we can do is make a payment using, say I wanted to make a donation. So what we would do is go to ministryofnodes.com.au/support, and this will generate a BTC Pay Server instance where you can copy the amounts and the numbers in. So for example, here's where you wanted to pay to, so that's been copied, and you can paste that in like so, and we can say donation to Ministry of Nodes, and then you can put the amount in. So I've copied that amount, and we can paste that in as well. If I wanted to subtract fees from that amount, I could do that. I could also go manual and put 1 sat per byte in terms of how much fees that I wanted to pay. The other cool feature is the coin selection, whereby you can pick which UTXO you want to use to make this payment. So I might just broadcast it using this one here. So you can just then create unsigned transaction. Now you can see also that you are able to sign your transaction with the cold card, but what I'll actually do is show you another way that you can directly use or import a transaction in. So we can just delete this transaction for now, and we go back to our instance here, and we just go open in wallet, and then open up Bitcoin Core. And so in here, we can select this particular transaction, and we can pay it. So what we want to do is actually have it opened in our Spector wallet. We'll open in wallet again, and you'll see that now being populated. You can then pick which UTXO you would like to use. So say, for example, that one there. And we will then use 1 sat per byte, or 1,000 satoshis per, or 1,000 sats per kilobyte. And then we can create the unsigned transaction. So donation to Ministry of Nodes, and we can, the amount is listed there as well. So we can then create, let me just open that up a bit. Yep. So then we can then create unsigned. And do you want to draft this transaction? And so you just review the details, make sure it's all okay. This is where you're paying to, and you press copy PSBT to clipboard. So that's now copied through. And what you can do in your Spector wallet is import that. And you can import it like so and paste that in. And then you can import the transaction. So you'll see here, donation to Ministry of Nodes, the amount. You can show the transaction details as well. So that's pretty cool. Now we can sign with our cold card. Now you've got two options with your cold card. You can sign it via a USB by directly plugging your USB cable in, or you can sign using an SD card. And so that would mean that you are using the air-gapped method. I'll show you both. So this is the sign via USB. So we plug in your device, and it'll say select USB wallet. So there's the cold card that I need to select, and confirm on your cold card. So on my cold card, it will receive the transaction, and it will ask OK to send. So you just review the amounts. So where you can review all of that is using this transaction details here. And you can review it and just make sure that it is the right amount that is, that you want there, and it's going to this address here. So I'm happy with that. The network fee is 141. Happy with that, and the change back as well. So once I have done that, I can press OK on my cold card, and it will sign it. And I should receive a pop-up to show that the transaction is ready to broadcast. So you can then go on to broadcast that transaction by clicking this button, or you can save as pending. So I might just save that. And so now if you look in your wallet here, you've got transactions. It'll say what's available, and you'll have waiting as well. And then in the unsigned section, what you can do is say, all right, well, you can bank it up for broadcasting later. So you can open that up, and you can send those transactions through. And so that's how you would, do that via USB. How then would you do it via SD card? Well, let's delete this transaction. Let's import that transaction back in, remembering that it came from Bitcoin Core. So import that. And then now we need to sign it again, and we can sign with the SD card. We'll download this transaction. Okay. And we might call this in our downloads folder donation. We'll call it donation to Ministry of Nodes, and we'll save it in the download section. And what we'll then do is move this and put it onto an SD card. So let's insert my SD card into my computer. Okay, go into my downloads section. And we said donation to Ministry of Nodes. So we'll copy that and we'll paste it into our SD card. So that's now donation to Ministry of Nodes.psbt. Then we'll take that micro SD card out, and we will put that into our cold card. Ready to sign is what we'll do, and there are some files to pick from, and we will pick the one that says donation to Ministry of Nodes. So we'll read that. We can then look at the transaction details here and make sure that we can view and see that that is the correct place that I want it to go. The network fee is fine, and what the outputs are going to be. So we'll click yes, I'm happy to sign that. So that's now signed and created a signed PSBT file on the micro SD card. So let's now go back and import this through. So we can then take our SD card reader and put it back into our computer, and we'll go to the sign with micro SD card, and we will do upload signed transaction. And here we should just now in our SD card there is a donation to Ministry of Nodes signed.psbt. So we will open that up, and now the transaction is ready to be broadcast. We can send it, and we can also save as pending. So we'll save that as pending, and you'll see that that donation to Ministry of Nodes is now ready to be broadcast. It's sitting there, and you can now sort of open it up again and send it as you so please. And so once you send that, off it goes, and you will see that in Bitcoin Core that will also update in your history, in your recent transactions.